Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a pretty cool mate in 2 that is relatively hard to find. So there are many checkmates in this position, but there is only one checkmate in 2 moves. If you want to, feel free to pause the video and see if you can figure it out. If not, feel free to just sit back and watch because I'm going to share the solution in just a moment. Before I do that, I would encourage you to subscribe and join my Discord channel. Half of the income that I earn goes directly to charity, so every subscriber really helps me out a lot, and it helps out charity. Okay, let's talk about the solution. So, if you're like me, the first thing you thought was, I see this discovered check on the king. So maybe I move my bishop somewhere, and I can look at where, either forward or backwards, like this, and try to find a mate. Well, quickly you'll be able to realize that if I do something like this, that doesn't really work because the piece that is checking the king can be captured, right? Like this. So I have no mate here, at least no mate in 1, and the goal is checkmate in 2 from the original position. In this position, the best move is just push the pawn. Okay, so it's not going to be a bishop move. Right away you can realize that it's not going to be one of those moves. So then I start thinking about, what if it's a rook sacrifice? Something to draw the rook in, maybe give double check, and see where that goes. And this kind of was the first thing I thought, what if I play rook takes ace or rook a7? Sure, that sounds good, but after you check and double check, right, with the queen and the bishop, it's right there, but the king can run away, right? And of course, this is not mate. This would be mate, but that's not mate in 2, that's mate in 3. So I kept thinking, okay, what do I have here? And then I thought, oh, I can put the rook on this square. It's a good idea, right? So rook here, king takes, and this is checkmate, right? Yes. So I found checkmate in 2. No, you didn't. You found checkmate in 2 if you force the variation that you calculate, but they don't have to take you, right? They can instead go king a7, and now you no longer have checkmate in 1. The best that you have, you can just take this, or you can move here. It's not going to be checkmate in 1. Like this, pretty similar to the other one I just showed. Okay, so what is the answer then? How do you start thinking about it? Well, one way that I started thinking about it is this king on the back rank is defending, I shouldn't say defending, it's blocking this checking square. So if there's a way I can get the king off of this square, maybe to one of these 3 squares, honestly probably just these 2, right? Because this square would still block. Maybe if I do that, I can get somewhere. And I thought, okay, but then if I do that, I'm accessible to checks like this, and that's kind of scary. So I thought, okay, let's look at that. So if I go king d7, this is not going to be checkmate in the next move because they have a check. And although I'll still win the game, right, it's not a problem, it's not going to work out. Even if you think to interpose with check, look at that. That's still not enough because remember, the goal is checkmate in 2. That's my second move. They can block. This is checkmate in 3. This is not checkmate in 2. Okay, so it seems like that idea, it kind of makes sense what I'm trying to do, but it doesn't quite work. Well, instead of going to d7, what if I looked at these other 2 squares? So if I go to e7, like I mentioned, I'm not really threatening this, and this position is not good for white. This is actually a draw, the computer is saying. Take here, and you're going to try to run the king around and get a draw, probably through stalemate. Okay, so that's not a good idea. Okay, well, we have one more king move. We have king c7. Okay, now what's the difference with this one? Is there something different? Well, remember, I wanted to consider what happens if they take and check me. Well, in this case, I can block. This is a cool thing. I can block with checkmate. How often do you see that one? I'm blocking the check, and I'm checkmating the king. Like this. Look at that. Okay, so that doesn't work for black. What if they just take my queen? Well, if they take my queen, I have this mate, right? That was the whole point of this move, right? The king moved so I can make room for the rook. Okay, so what else does white have? Or sorry, what else does black have? If I make this king c7 move, you might think I'm trying to prevent rook to e8. What about queen here? Saying, hey, I'm going to give up my queen, but you're not going to mate me in two. Well, any simple bishop move would work, right? Here, here. No, not correct. Only one bishop move works. Bishop b4, blocking the queen from interposing on a5. Pretty crazy, right? So you might think, okay, I'm seeing the pattern here. If the queen goes somewhere like here to cut this square off, well, I just mate in the back rank. And if they go somewhere like here to cover the back rank, I just mate and cover this intersection square. Crazy. This is amazing. So the winning move in this position is king to c7. And there's really nothing else to suggest for white. You want to go any of these squares? It doesn't really matter. Pick your favorite mate. That's a mate. Nothing you can do about that. So just in that initial position, you have to consider all the different ways, but it's important that you calculate the most resistance. So this move doesn't work because they don't have to capture it. If they did capture it, it would work. They didn't have to. So yeah, that's it. And I should say one more time, just to say it, if you take this, that's not a good idea. What is this? This is stalemate, right? King can't move. So don't take the queen. I never said that in the beginning. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of these puzzles are just so interesting. You can move the king in all sorts of ways. You can move the pawn, the bishop, the queen. You might even have thought about something like queen here to get here. But it doesn't quite work because it's not mate in two. They can always interpose and force an exchange. And now your mate in two is gone. It'll be a mate in three. There are lots of mate in threes, but there's only one mate in two. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you were able to figure it out. It's really fun, and I just love hearing from the community. Let me know where you're from. I've had a couple people let me know from where they're watching. It's just amazing. So thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.